Hi, welcome back to my series on Transport Fever 2. This is the Maghull stone line in the central region, and it's just about to pull into the stone quarry to pick up its load of stone to take back to Maghull for the construction materials plant. I'm just going to pause it here quickly because I noticed earlier there was, from last episode, we had a small build-up of goods here at the Woodham Quarry, and it's now significantly higher. It's almost 900. Um, you will notice during this episode, one of the small fixes I've made to some of my problems on the map is that I was using a ground platform to store goods out in the open that I could see the goods build up. However, the map has gotten so large that I find a lot of lag and performance issues around stations that had them. So I have put in the in-game warehousing back into the game again, and you actually have to click on it to see that we're almost full, 417 in the warehouse for a total of 560 storage. So we do have an issue that probably on the next round it will overflow. Before we get started on today's journey, I would like to fix this issue up. Now, it's not really making money. Well, it is actually. It is making money every third, fourth journey. It does like a double delivery. And on the double delivery month, it makes a significant profit. And it kind of basically breaks even on the other months. So financially, it's not a bad line with those blue towers there. So I'm not worried about that so much. What I am worried about, though, is its rate of delivery. So the stone quarry here produces 800, and we are only able to deliver with this train 729. I need that to be 800. We can carry 680. So so our frequency means that we're getting back in time to get that double run in every now and then, and that's kind of the catch up. But I need that rate to be 800 plus to get it to start working down. Now, I could extend the platform to give me a few extra cars, and that's the best option here because we're so close to 800 that to put another train on the line would just lose me money. So that's not an option. Um, and so these are the best cars that we can use to transport the stone. So I don't have an upgradable option there. These engines are the strongest engines we have in game, the strongest diesel engines we have in game. Um, but they have a top speed of 120. So what we learnt from over at Maghull Mountain with those trains, maybe this line is long enough for us to get the benefit of the speed of the Series 246. So I think I should give that a go and see if that solves our problem. So because it's going to be a double engine, I can't just edit this train and put two engines on the front. I don't know of any way on console to make that possible other than to replace it. So we'll go with the blue still, and we'll stick with these cars. Now it was 460 long, So what I'll do is I'll aim for the same length, which will be less capacity. No, that's obviously going to be too long, but I can delete cars off it to get us close, or maybe a little bit over 460 if I have to. Let's have a look at this. We'll go down this end. That's 2 engines flipped. I don't think that matters all that much. And we'll bring it down to 468. So it is a little less, 640 capacity. And that will cost us 81 for a replacement. But the train itself, brand new, is 143. Yeah, because the train that we're replacing isn't actually that old. It has only been recently upgraded. But I think the 160 kilometers here is our best bet to satisfy the supply that this stone is producing. Now let's see how much space we have on the platform here. Yeah, so that looks like a 480 meter platform, and we are just short of 470. So there's 5 meters there and 5 meters at the back. So I don't think we can squeeze another one in, another car in, without going over. And if we're going to go over, I might as well just extend the platform. So the way I like to do this is we have 300 basically sitting on the platform when we leave, just under 300. So the question will be is two things. You can't trust the rate that it's about to tell me immediately, because it hasn't run a single loop to actually get an actual frequency of the delivery, and it can vary if there is some traffic. Now I'm pretty sure there is literally zero traffic on this line. It was originally set up for 2 trains when the production did go to 800, and many places around the map just had that simple equation of when we switched from 400 production to 800 production, most lines just got an extra train put on it. We found out quickly that it's probably better to upgrade your trains instead of just duplicating them. Speed-wise, I'm really interested here. We're doing 80. This is a really heavy load, 640 stone. We can get the weight here, 1.8 million kilos. Yeah, length 468. We have almost 11,000 horsepower. And you can see the value of the train just ticking down as we're using it. Our running cost, it's $12 million a year. I mean, this is an expensive train. We have found that out in the past, that if I put too many of these trains on, it hurts. It does sting. You can see also that we're in normal maintenance mode at the moment. Interestingly, this bridge coming up, we had to upgrade this just recently. It was only a stone bridge at 90 kilometers an hour, and it's now been upgraded to an iron bridge for 180. So she's not going to slow down on this bridge, mind you. She's not even at 120 with a full load. So, you know, we're not getting full value out of the top speed, but this setup does have a little bit more horsepower. So let's have a look now at the rate. The rate has gone to 850. That's what I wanted to see. So, you know, we might not make as much money as what we did with the other train every cycle, but we will be able to satisfy the full supply to Maghull with the stone on one single train. And while the maintenance on this train is actually a little higher than our previous train. The previous train was the GE C40. And it's a good train, especially when you put two of those engines on your gondola trains. It's got it's got 8,000 horsepower with a maintenance value of around, basically your maintenance is basically $1 per horsepower. If you've got an 8,000 horsepower train, your maintenance is basically 8,000. And if you've got an 11,000 or 12,000 horsepower train, your maintenance is $11,000 or $12,000, So we're hitting top speed here at 147, which means we are getting that extra 20 kilometers, 30 kilometers an hour faster than the C40. We also have a very long platform here, which if I did extend out the stone, can we fit? This is probably 480 as well. It's the same length platform. So any extension I do up at the stone, I'd have to do down here. Now I cannot extend it there. It's too close to the bridge. And strangely enough, I can't really extend it this way either, because the ground starts raising right here. So any platform we will dig in, like the train depot, we would dig in like that, and I'd have to change all of the lines to be a steeper incline up over the bridge up there. And this is already a massive incline. As from my perspective, you don't want an incline more than this. Like, the trains can't accelerate up this hill here. It's good for the downhill run, but it is, and it gets steeper and steeper the longer I extend this platform out. So I don't think I can really extend it as an option. While we're down here, there isn't enough demand. The shipment there is basically demand from, we're producing 800 and we're transporting everything that we produce. But we're not shipping out 800, we're only shipping out 600. And that's because we have more than enough construction materials on the map to satisfy the demands on the map. So, the city growth has sort of plateaued and flattened out. And Mark commented just recently, one of the supporters of the channel, he asked why is the city growth statistics like stalled out at 20% for your bonuses? And it was a really good comment. It was a really good question in the comments, because it should be higher than that. And I've looked at my cities, and all the cities are doing it, Mark. Every single city has got this 20% sort of restriction on the growth bonuses for when I supply the amount of, say, construction materials that city wants. And I've got a funny feeling the game is restricting my city growth, because with all the changes I've made recently to improve the way the game plays on my map, I have made a lot less lag around the map in a number of ways, and I'll talk about them a little bit later. So if you're a console player and you've got some lag on your map, I've discovered a few interesting ways to limit it. But in particular, around my cities, which you can see in the background there, they're huge. That's one of my biggest cities on the map. Um, that is Bracknell, and I think the game has got to a point, and we'll just notice the 160 kilometer an hour on the way back. Why do I have another? Oh, of course. Oh my God. Oh my God. I'm going through the whole Barbie bus thing again. I'll talk about the Barbie bus that just popped up in a minute. All right. Um, we have to stop here. We were hitting 160 on the way back, this is where our rate is increasing. Our rate has increased to 877. We are in the profit margin on this run. We so the speed is the difference. Um, we get back here in time to fill up again, and this time it's actually under 800 when we come back, and when we leave, so it's under 800 this time. We were over 800 last time. Okay, fill up, my friend, and on your way again. Now, we did take notice of the almost 300, 290 to 300 was left on the platform, and we only have 160 this time. So 160, 170. It's 120 extra that we're taking off the platform. So we're ahead 120. This train will be able to come back here and then wait to fill in the future. And there's no need for a second train. Now the question will be is, well, Sims, how much money will this train make? And at the end of the episode, I'll try and remember to drop back here and we'll check in on how this train is doing. Um, Barbie. Let's deal with Barbie for a second. Uh, at the end of my last episode, if you watch to the end, there was a message there that the game did crash at the end. So I have gone back and played, and I've done some more upgrades and changes. And I've started this episode, and the date is earlier than where I finished last episode. Because last episode I really just chatted to you about most things, and I didn't really do a lot of upgrades. I didn't really need to go back and do anything after last episode to redo a lot. Now, Mark was commenting that you can see that the top two are at best 80, 90%, and they should be higher than that. Really, it should be 90, 100% for the growth bonuses down the right-hand side. And then the third, fourth should be 30 to 40%. And the bottom two, yeah, 20% is okay for the bottom two, and they're fully being met down the bottom there, so they should be 20%. Maybe a little higher. Maybe they should pop up to 30. But the middle two uh, are definitely low, and the top two, well, I'm not actually meeting it. So if they were both being met, they would be at 90, but they should be higher than that. Um, and we've got room to grow here. This city wants to grow more, but I have restricted it. The target population is 2668, um, and we only have 2,500. Well, we have 2,589 workplaces, which is kind of interesting. We have more workers here than what we have people living here, um, and we just lost 10% on the fuel. So that third one has gone all the way down to 10. That's kind of crazy. It feels like to me that the game is restricting my city growth. And I can show Bolton, which has more room for growth. let's have a look here. It's the same. Third and fourth is 20. Bottom two, 10 to 20. And at best, I get about 90% on the top two. This city has a target population, bottom right hand corner, of 1550. And I've got 1531 people living here. So, it's totally flat. We've reached our target population basically. We're short about, what, 20 people? We have more than enough room for them to move in. But this city is not growing, even though I'm meeting or close to almost all of their demands. Like they're getting a heap of goods supply to this city. Um, Now, this is not the only thing that the game is restricting me on. And the reason why I think the game is restricting it is it's also restricting my game speed. I'm going to show you my game speed. Have we got a train pulling out here? In a second. Let's have a look. So one of the fixes I found is that if I run a lot of different types of trains on the map, my file save size is much higher. So I have a file save size issue at the moment where my game is crashing when I try and save. And one of the fixes I've noticed is if I upgrade, if I standardize, say, all of my passenger trains to be exactly the same passenger train, the file size comes down. And so I've gone through the process of standardizing my buses, all one bus on the map, trucks, one truck pack, and try and keep the buses at the same type. Okay, I'm going to speed up the game. I'm going to stand here with no city behind me, okay, with no city behind me, and I'm going to speed up. Double speed, triple speed. The game is restricting my ability. Oh, there we go. I got it for a second. Look at that. It goes really fast. And then it lagged to the hell. It like skipped and jumped down the tracks. And now we're back to play again. It's a bit tricky to get that on the PlayStation controller, by the way, which is why the screen has to jump to the right. It's like push down on the joystick and push right at the same time to get that to speed up. Okay, so the game is not letting me use 2 or 3 times speed. It's restricting me in a lot of ways. And so the city growth, I think, is an outright, the game has just decided, Sims, your cities are too big. We're not letting your cities grow anymore. You've got what you got. And okay, cool. All right. If the game has that built into it, that it's trying to prevent my game from crashing by doing that, I think that's genius. I think that's a great idea. And if the game lags out when you try and speed it up, then yeah, that's a great idea that it prevents the game from crashing there. Okay, so one of the things I've done is I used to have all sorts of different versions of this train on the map. And so what I've done is I've standardized the passenger trains except for the north here. So I'm going to change these trains to be the same as everywhere else. And this is purely a file saving exercise. And 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We'll go 6. I think they had 5. And we'll upgrade it for that. Now it's exactly the same train. It's got the now they've all got the same livery, and it is actually the physically the same train file. Okay, now we have to take a mental note here. It's been 15 minutes that I've been playing, and I'm going to try and restrict my record sessions into 15-minute grabs. So we have upgraded this train and the stone train. I'll be back in just a second. Hey, I'm back. That means it's saved. But future me can tell you that the next one doesn't. All right. Okay, let's do this again. Um, this is going to be so much fun. The rest of this series. Uh, okay, we have upgraded all of the stations to go back to base game warehouses. I think I've already mentioned this. The ground platforms, when they've got goods on them, moving on and off all the time, is making the game a little more laggy. Also, has a higher file size when I save when the ground platforms are full of goods. If if the warehouses have goods in them, the file size is smaller. Okay, go figure, but that's happening. If I have more of the same vehicles on the map and eliminate an entire vehicle. So, for example, uh, if I go and upgrade all of the buses on the map, which is what I've done, uh, we can see that all of the buses are these. Size smaller. Okay. Trucks, if I eliminate types of trucks off the map and standardize those as well, file size smaller, less crashes when I save. If I decided that I didn't want to use the shunter anymore, so I have a shunter all the way down here, I could take and change this shunter to a train that I'm already using, file size smaller. So I've tried to reduce my file size so that I have less crashes. Now I am having less crashes, by the way. I can get through regularly a few saves now, which means I can play and I can save and I can record and I can save the recording. I'm also enjoying the map more because my flyovers are much more smoother. See, when this was full of iron, I could not fly over this station here without a whole heap of lag. Now, the cities are still creating an issue for me because the cities are have expanded to a point where the game has said no more expansion. Um, and and I'm not sure whether we've discussed that before. Because I jump back from the future regularly, my sense of time and space and where I am in the game is what's driving me crazy. Like I said last episode, some of you guys found it funny, all right, but I'm lost in my own mind right now about what did we discuss last part of the episode, because for me, um, this is not the same as for you. Okay, we are at Kendall Steel Cargo Hub. This is the busiest spot on the map and has been the bane of my existence for a while now. That every time I pass here, I get this terrible lag. And especially if I have Kendall in the background, the trains are really jumpy and okay, they're still a little bit here. I mean, it's not as smooth as what it could be, but Let me show you something. I can move around this station in a full 360 without crashing the game. I just did a pirouette. I jumped up in the air, I did a 360, and I landed back in my chair, and everything's fine. And the difference is the ground platforms are gone. And I don't have 2,000 goods sitting on the ground here, moving on and off and on and off, changing every second it would change. So I have a problem with my steel line here. Now, I have made some changes here. I have put an additional transfer train that just runs between here and Kendall, which is what these trains here do. And so he should look exactly the same. So this is an extra transfer line. The fuel line used to be up and down, the crude. It's not anymore. It's just on this second line. It just passes through. These are transfer trains moving goods in and out of here. This is our primary line here, our steel line, which has been isolated into just a steel train. And we also have just a plastics train on this line. Now, here, and they're fast trains now, trying to take advantage of the high speed to get the goods in and out as quickly as possible. Now, the other primary good that's being moved around here is the coal lines coming in for the steel factory, for the steel mill. And the iron comes down from up north onto this line, which is a drop line. So on the right here is the coal, and on the left here is an iron drop off only. And they drop through this dirt platform just here. That's their platform. It's an 80-meter platform. If you look in the list, it would be line 6 here. No, it's this one here. And it's the Staines to Kendall Steel iron line. The steel might be confusing because this place is actually called Kendall Steel. That means that line doesn't necessarily transport steel. This is just called Kendall Steel. And this place over here is called Fordwich Steel. I know, it's confusing, but they're both steel mills. Okay, here is our, I was going to say empty coal train, but it's not. It's a little bit empty. It's full though. And so it's bringing the coal in, and the iron's being brought in as well. But this one actually picks coal up here. Now, over here, we have our oil that comes in here that goes to our chemical factory, just behind us here. See how smoothly that turned? It's amazing. I know. So goods factory and chemical factory in the background. Trucks doing both. So I've left these trucks on the map because they're amazing. These container trucks can do containers of fuel and containers of plastics on the same truck. And then all trucks on the map have been changed to the man tipper that can carry 52. And so I can't have the luxury of having Kenworths here and Volvos there and man trucks there. That truck there was the Scania. It's the Scania truck. Scania, you decide. As is this coal line here. And I've moved them away from this area here, which is the oil and plastic. They've got their own platforms coming in here. And the green one goes out over the mountain. And all roads are now 100-kilometre-an-hour roads because the Scania can do 100 kilometres an hour. So I've upgraded all of my 2-lane roads that could do 80 to 4-lane roads that can do 100. And as he comes in here, is he doing 100? Yep, 100 kilometres an hour. And now he'll slow down as he comes in, which means I can have less trucks on the line, which means my map isn't as busy. So instead of, playing because, I like this or I like that, or it's okay to have more trucks, you know, um, no, I have to change my game up a little to to help the map um, continue. Let's put it that way. If I want the map to continue at all past today, then I have to make changes to my game style, my play style. Okay, so we got more warehousing space here. We can hold 850 here now, and the truck stop at Fordwich has inspired this one. And we now get steel delivered here as well onto these steel trucks. Now, you guys are going to get in each other's way? No, look at that. They got their own lane. Look, if you just pull up and see the shadow, he's got his own lane out, and he's got his own lane out. And now they're gonna do some switcheroos here. They're gonna switch lanes. Look at this. But they won't actually get in each other's way. Look at that. I like it very much. This is a 100 km/h road, but they don't get up to 100. I don't even think he gets. Oh, I don't think I'll catch him. No, he would have slowed down by then. But they do come in at 100 down the freeway. So this is a one-way freeway, three-lane road, and they're going. So the coal trucks are just looping here, in and out, and then the steel trucks are getting up onto the freeway here, and they don't actually cross paths because they come underneath here. You might think, well, why didn't you just pop it up onto this side? Well, then they would have crossed paths and got in each other's way. But if I bring it up around this way, they just get onto the freeway here and transport their steel all the way to Alsager. Now, Alsager is getting steel by train and always has. It's just, it gets a lot of steel delivered here. And the planks, well, it's got 61,000 planks in storage. That's crazy. But it always was lacking on the steel side of things. I couldn't get the steel here fast enough for it to produce by the train line, and it comes in over here. Now, it does a real trip. The trip isn't all that far from there, but like I couldn't get a rail line really to mirror image this truck line here without it being a real mess. So the truck line makes sense. And so I've got trains that run around this loop. So the oil goes around to there, and the the grain comes around to here and then runs back around to here. And some of it just comes to Kendal, and some of it, and then it gets transferred by the transfer trains. So Alsager doesn't actually get its trains necessarily always to go into Kendal. Some of the trains just come in here and pick up their fuel and run and drop their goods, and then the transfer trains take it. Now, the oil train does. The oil train does because it needs to drop a ton of oil directly into this platform here. So the trains that do have to come in here are trains like steel and oil. And trains that have to come in here for the steel mill over the other side, that's coal and iron. So, the trains that do have to come in here, they're coming in here. But trains that don't have to come in, if they're just picking up bits and pieces or whatever, or dropping off bits and pieces, like the machine parts. The machine parts are getting dropped here, I'm sure of it. They get dropped here and then they leave again. And then this transfer train picks up the machine parts. Look, that's all they've got on at the moment, a few machine parts. Can't even see them on the list. They've got so many things that this train can... But, oh, here comes some now, look. Oh, we've still got What is this train? A NoHab. We've still got a NoHab on the map. What are you still doing here, mate? Um, you know, I thought I got rid of all of you. Um, that that needs to be fixed up. Okay. Oh, I I didn't talk about the Barbie thing. Now, we got the Barbie bus again. So for those of you that saw last episode, we've gone back in time and we saw the Barbie bus come up again. And that's because, we're going back to the future quite often during this series. Um, that's why I'm not making a lot of changes, you'll notice, to the map right now, because we're going to finish up the episode in a minute. And in the first half of each episode, we'll make changes and upgrades. And then in the second half of the episode, we'll see how things are evolving, whether they improved the map or whether they didn't. And that way, if the second half of the recording does not necessarily go well, like has already happened, then it won't make too much of a difference to the map. We won't have a lot of going back to the future moments if I do it that way. So I'm trying to improve the way my records will happen, and I'm also trying to improve how the map can handle what I've done to it. I've done this to the map. It's my fault. It's not the game's fault. If I have not mentioned earlier to you guys, I wanted to check our stone truck. Our stone train. We made an upgrade to the stone train earlier. I'm hoping that you were here for it. And we have a stone train. No, we don't want that. Can we locate you, sir? No, that's the platform. We want the train. Where is the train? Um, Here's the train. Well, while you're trying to work it out, Sims, here is the train. Okay, this is our upgraded train. Yes, and it is. Is it still? Oh, it used to be doing way over 800, by the way. And I said earlier, you cannot trust the rate of delivery until it's run a few trips around. And I said, we'll come back at the end of the episode because I wanted to show that um, once it's done a few runs, you can believe in it a little bit more. But in saying that, I think there's something with the game as well that I've noticed. If if the rate, okay, now look at this, all right? I'm going to pause it for a second because I don't want it to leave or anything. All right, this will prove my point, okay? Previously we had a rate higher than 800. I can't remember what it was off the top of my head because it was a while ago now. For you, it might have only been 15, 20 minutes ago. For me, it might have been a couple of hours ago. and a little less crazy back then. I was calm back then. I was normal. Uh, okay, so the rate was higher than 800, and hear me out. Okay, hear me out. We're obviously delivering more than 800. The train is not full. So if this, I got to stutter. Sorry, I got to stutter. If this quarry, I don't know why it's called Bracknell Quarry. Anyway, if this quarry was producing 800, okay, and this line is delivering 800, then this train would show up, it would fill up, it would leave, and it would deliver 800. But it's not. It's delivering faster than 800. How do I know that it's delivering faster than 800? Because it's sitting here waiting for 800. Okay? Now, you might say, but the train doesn't hold 800 sims. No, what we're talking about is from the start of the quarter, which is the 1st of September, to the end of the quarter, which is the 31st of December, in that time frame, it will deliver 800. That's what it's like. In the time that it produces, in the same time this produces 800, this has to deliver 800. Now, let's just say for the quarter, this produces 800. Let's just say. Now, I've never sat there and counted that it produced 800 for the quarter. I've not tested that. I assume that's what it does. I assume it produces 800 in a quarter. This delivers 800 in a quarter. I don't know. Maybe it's a month. Maybe it's a week. I don't know. But they both meant to equal each other is the point I'm trying to make. And my train is delivering more than that, which says to me that it's still delivering more than 8, but the game is at a point where it's just saying, look, it's over 800. Let's just call it 800. That's what I think the game is doing. I think the game is saying, look, don't make me calculate that exactly what your rate is. Let's just say that you're delivering 801. Are you happy? You're delivering more than what's required. Okay, you're good. Now, I have no idea how much more I could obviously take some cars off this train, make it shorter, lighter, faster maybe, and still be able to deliver the 800 because the rate is higher. Now, earlier on in the game, the game never did this, but I think I could go to now if it's a single train on a single line, it's really noticeable then. So let's go. Is there a train line that I could possibly? Or is it this one here? Now this is 800 here, and this is 800 here. Okay, no, that's not true. Sims, you get it wrong all the time. The farm only produces 400. Ah, yeah, because originally it's 200, and we're running at double production. All right, double production means 400, not 800. Okay, yeah, I got it. I got it. I got it. Okay, this train needs to pick up 800. It can hold 740. It's one of the biggest trains on the map. It definitely contends with the Kendall Valley Oil. Yeah, weight 2.1 million, and that's only half full. That's not even full. Oh, Sims, you're wrong. You're just outside the draw distance. That thing is full, right to the brim. And there's still, no, there was nothing left. That's just been dropped there since we left. All right. Let's see what this trade says for its delivery. Okay. 801. Okay. My point is, okay, that this train needs to pick up 800 because the factories, the farms produce 800. 400 and 400 is 800. The game is just saying, Sims, look, who cares? You deliver an 801, mate. That's good enough. You're delivering all the goods, all right? You don't need to know. It's above your pay grade. You don't need to know how much you're actually delivering. 801 is what you're delivering. Now that I've established that the game can continue, kind of, the question will be is, well, what can you do with the game, Sims? Like, can you expand the game any further? Not really. No. No, that might be silly. What we're talking about is trying to make it more stable so that you can actually play and continue playing on the map. And what we're looking for is like really big icons jumping out at us and saying Sims has a problem here. I don't see any. There are no big, not even the passengers up here, they're good. The passenger one over the back over there, Hemsworth has a small build-up of passengers over there. Look at the passengers here though, at Swindon and Staines, all being dealt with. So not only are the goods being dealt with, passengers at the airport are high, and at Kendal they're high. So I'm thinking, hmm, this is what I'm thinking. Number one, I'm thinking electrify passenger lines and faster, more efficient train lines uh, with the passengers. And then I'm actually thinking of once I make the passenger lines better, of removing the airports, or at least some of the airports. I'm thinking this one, especially at Woodham, is going to go. That one would go, and just hear me out for a second. This airport has 200 going through it on a regular basis, 200 people, all right? And it's handling that no problem whatsoever. If we look at the line rate, yeah, 200. Okay, 200. We have 4 planes on the line, and its profit margin is good. It's got blue towers all the way across the board. What, except for last month? What happened last month? Come on. Like, because, yeah, okay. Because we were recording, we'll just throw in a bad month for you. Oh, I know why it's getting worse for this line. Um, Better, worse, here, there, but generally this is a good line. All right, it's making me money. It's making me like $5 million on a regular basis. And if we go across here, it's currently showing minus 1 million. That's its average at this minute. At this minute, it's minus 2 million. But it probably just paid for all the maintenance. So when it drops off its next run of passengers, maybe it'll go up to a few million. Okay. Its problem is down the other end of the line, which is this problem here of the 700. And look at the stacking here. Oh, and so there is some stacking down this end of the line for this line itself, which is the Woodham line, but also it's struggling to get in and out of here because of the 600 passengers for the Bolton. So I think I'll just make this Bolton. And the people here in Alsager, and a lot of people that come across from Kendal, they won't come across to go and fly to Woodham to here. They can catch a train up to there. And then if I'm going to electrify the line, then maybe I actually put into use this express line that I have not taken advantage of yet. And so I've got this express line that runs all the way through. It would skip here, and it might even skip Woodham. Well, if we take the airport out, I think it should stop at Woodham, and then it should go to Bolton here. And if I remember correctly, we still have a platform here not being used. It's possible that this becomes a 3-track line, just like that transition we made to our express line in the south started off as a 3-track line so that they stayed out of each other's way. But I'm thinking about deleting this and letting Woodham just expand into this area here. Mind you, I don't think it will expand. No, the game is restricting me for sure. 62 or 69, 53 or 53, 47 or 51. They should all be much higher bonuses. And then the two at the top, 70 and 80, we're at our current residence is at its target population. That is the top left-hand number equaling the bottom right-hand. And that bottom right-hand one just went down to 1200. So the game just like reduced my target population. It just said, no, we're going to shrink this city. And it's not because of me not meeting the demands of the city. I think the game is just going, no, it's 2005, dude. You can't have huge cities like this on console. It's a little too much. I don't know. I think that's my theory. If you've got a theory that you want to share of why my cities are not growing, even though they're getting more than enough and more than enough of a supply, they're almost getting full supply, not just enough supply to keep them happy, but enough to be almost maxed out. 390 of 420. Like, I'm only getting an 80% bonus. And that never goes to 100, by the way. And the third and fourth, new train, class 142. That looks like an interesting train, but am I allowed to use it? Sims, not unless you're going to put it everywhere. Look, let's just splurge for a second. How expensive is this to see this new train? Uh, Replace. Now this is going to date and time this episode. Where is it? Do I even get access to this train? Yes, I do. We go 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Cost me $7 million. It's been replaced. It's sitting in the platform as we speak. And I don't know. Tell me what you think. Is that train hideous or what? Or is it beautiful? Look at that pink and blue. It's almost like a Barbie train. Not quite. Whoa, look out for that plane. Okay, let's finish the episode off with this new train. Is it a keeper? It's pulsating at me. Hmm. I don't know. I think I like the other one better, to be honest. Yeah, I think I like the other one better. Look, I hope you guys are all well. Thank you very much for watching. I hope um, to see you again soon. Uh, I'm hoping the game will save. Oh, say goodbye, Sims, and hurry up and save this recording. And I'll see you guys next week. Thanks for watching. Bye now.